morning everybody, and welcome to this morning's thought for the day. This week's theme is on humility, and we're looking today at the chapter 8 of Deuteronomy, where Moses is instructing the children of Israel before they cross the River Jordan into the Promised Land. On reading this passage of scripture, it is clear that it is a farming based passage, and essentially the children of Israel were hoping to become farmers whenever they reached the Promised Land, even though they had been enslaved for several generations, and you could say that they had endured generations of lockdown. I'm talking of lockdown. During lockdown earlier in the year, my wife Sharon decided that we would make a vegetable garden. Now, Sharon and I have been married for 29 years, and in those 29 years we have never successfully grown any plants. We have managed to kill trees, shrubs, heathers, daffodils. We've managed to kill everything, but this year is different because we've made a special effort to make this wee vegetable garden. So I'm just showing you the wee vegetable patch that we have in the garden here. This was barren ground earlier in the spring, but now you can see we've got potatoes, we've got beetroot, carrots, courgettes, onions, lettuce, more carrots, and Sharon's favourite is broccoli. All in all, a very successful vegetable garden, and there's her tools of the trade. But just to put this all in balance, I want to show you fuchsia that Sharon took slips of last weekend in Donegal. I just don't think they're going to make it. So as you can see, the wee vegetable garden has been very successful. Sharon has worked hard, and some nights she come into the house and said her back was sore carrying water, and she'd been weeding and she'd been de-stoning the ground and generally managing the vegetable garden, but she never ever took credit for the fact that the vegetables were growing, because Sharon knows, and we all know, that it is God who makes the vegetables grow. And whether we're in a vegetable patch or on a farm of any size, we know that we cannot take the credit for it. So we thank God for the increase, and that is basically humility. Humility in the dictionary definition for humility is the quality of having a modest view of one's own importance. So that's humility. But the opposite to humility is pride, and pride says that we are responsible for the increase, and it was by our actions that the vegetables grew. It's by our actions that the barley fields give 3 or 4 tons to the acre, or that our cattle grow very quickly. It's all about us. But humility says it is God who gives the increase. So what does this chapter teach us about humility? It teaches us that Moses knew what human nature was. Human nature tells us that people want to congratulate themselves, but as Christians we should live our lives with humility and thank God for all his provision to us. We here in Northern Ireland, we live in a bounteous land we have plenty of everything, and even at the moment farmers have so much grass that they actually don't know where they're putting the grass. We have an abundance of everything, and God instructs us that we should step aside and take time to thank him for his provision for us. So my thought for today is summed up in a memory I have from many years ago. A man who lived beside us, Willie Nelson, was going out to sow a field fertiliser, and he stopped to speak to me, and I, in the conversation, I said, Willie, you're going to make the grass grow. Willie said to me, Hampton, I'm not going to make the grass grow, I'm going to encourage the grass to grow. It is God that makes the grass grow. And that wee statement summed Willie up, because he knew that it was God that gave the increase. And although we had that conversation maybe 40 years ago, it has stayed in my mind ever since. Have a good day.